If you own XRP or you are even thinking about it, there is one thing happening in Washington right now that matters more than any price chart on your screen. It is a piece of legislation called the Clarity Act, and the next few weeks could decide the direction of this entire market. So let me explain exactly what it is, where it stands today, and why the clock is the real story here. Clarity stands for the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. At its core, it does something the crypto industry has been chasing for years. It draws a clear legal line between digital assets that count as commodities, which are overseen by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and digital assets that count as securities, which fall under the Securities and Exchange Commission. For more than a decade, that line only existed inside enforcement actions and court rulings that shifted with each new administration. This bill would replace that patchwork with a durable federal framework covering how tokens are issued, how exchanges register, and how custody actually works. Here is where things stand. The bill passed the House of Representatives back on July 17th, 2025, by a wide margin of 294 to 134, with more than 70 Democrats crossing the aisle. That made it the strongest congressional endorsement of digital asset legislation in United States history. Then it moved to the Senate. On May 14th, 2026, the Senate Banking Committee advanced the bill by a vote of 15 to 9, with 2 Democrats joining every Republican on the committee. After that, it was placed on the Senate legislative calendar as calendar number 423, which means it is now formally eligible for a full Senate floor vote. But, and this is the critical part, that full Senate floor vote has not happened yet. The bill is sitting there, eligible, waiting. And to actually become law, it still has to clear several more hurdles. It needs 60 votes on the Senate floor to beat a filibuster. It has to be reconciled with the Senate Agriculture Committee's version of the rules. Then the combined Senate bill has to be reconciled with the House version, and only then does it go to the president's desk for a signature. An earlier target of signing the bill by July 4th came and went with no ceremony and no signature. So why all the urgency? Because of the calendar. Policy strategists tracking this bill have been blunt. Many argue it probably needs to get through the Senate by the end of July, and that missing the August recess would cause its chances to deteriorate materially. The concern is simple. When lawmakers return in the fall, they walk into an election year dominated by must-pass legislation and political fighting. The appetite for spending precious floor time on complex crypto rules drops sharply. Prediction markets have felt this shift too. The odds of passage have slid from the low 70s down to around 43% in recent weeks. Now, why does any of this touch XRP specifically? Because XRP spent years trapped in legal limbo over whether it was a security. Regulatory clarity is the exact thing that unlocks deeper institutional access and cleaner pathways for products built on top of XRP. A durable federal framework removes the uncertainty that kept large players on the sidelines. That is why so many holders treat this bill less like background noise and more like the master switch. Here's the honest takeaway. Legislative outcomes are binary and uncertain. The bill could advance, it could stall, or it could pass in a weakened form. Nobody watching this in good faith can tell you which of those will happen or exactly when. What you can do is understand the mechanics so that when a headline flashes across your screen about a Senate vote or a delay, you actually know what it means and why the market reacts the way it does. This video is for education only, and it is not financial advice. I am walking you through how this process works, not telling you what to do with your money. If this helped make a confusing topic clearer, hit that like button, subscribe to Pisano Finance so you do not miss the next update on this bill, and drop a comment telling me whether you think it passes before the recess.